Okay, hi everybody. This is my husband Scott. This is gonna be another one of those, like, you're gonna get a bunch of clips mashed together because we're back at our cabin. I wanted to do the, like, husband quiz, aka like partner quiz, that apparently somebody told me about this recently, that like several years ago there was this like husband quiz that was going around Flosstube. And I immediately wanted to do it with my husband, Scott. He is like really into my stitching. Like when I hear other people complain about how like their husband won't go into a shop with them, or like couldn't care less, or their husband doesn't want certain things like hung on the wall, that is not how it is in our house. He's awesome. He loves my stitching.
I don't want certain things hung on the wall.
Yeah, some husbands don't want like certain things, like, yeah. So he's,
What kind of things?
we'll talk about it later.
Alright.
Like some things things that we don't buy into. Like some people I think things are like too girly, but we don't look at things that way. So
they wouldn't have fancy ladies on the wall?
can we not have this argument on
Okay.
Flosstube?
Okay.
Anyway, I really want to do it because I think he's going to do awesome. There's a couple on here that he might not know that are like relatively obscure, or like reference things that I just don't use, so I don't know that he'll know them. But most of them I think he's going to do awesome on, and I really want to know. So I just Googled and I found this. I wrote the questions down from Stitcherista. I think she had a video in like 2018 where this was done, which was before I even watched Flosstube or anything. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give him the quiz and we're going to see how he does. I think he's going to do awesome. There's 23 questions all about just stitching. He hasn't seen the questions. And then there's like 5 bonus questions about like my stitching and like what he thinks of it and stuff. And then also you can stick around if you want to. If you don't want to hear this, you can just fast forward till you don't see him anymore. But I'll do some like updates and some stuff about the crafting I'm doing at the cabin during this trip after the quiz. Okay, here we go. You ready, Scott?
I'll do my best.
Okay. What is floss?
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. What I told you you're going to do really well. What is floss?
I mean, it's what you use to stitch with. I mean, it.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah. What is floss? Wait, bonus. Do you know what floss, what DMC floss is made of?
It's cotton.
There you go. See, you really know what floss is.
Okay, so well, I mean, I still don't know what DMC stands for entirely. I know it's like,
French, so
I
don't
know
worry
it's
about
French, and I know Anchor's stereotypically British, but like I don't know exactly what DMC stands for.
That's fine. See, you know lots.
Okay.
All right, what is Flosstube?
Hi. It's the YouTube community, kind of sort of ad hoc, that's created around you guys making videos and sharing your projects and your stuff with each other.
Yeah, you ready for this next one?
Yep.
What is a needle minder?
Are you serious?
That's the question. See, he knows these, and then he's like, really? Because he knows them. What's a needle minder?
I mean, it's part of the dragon hunt that we do stereotypically every Thursday night. I mean, they can be all kinds of things. But the chems that we have are like little clay doodads that you use to hold your needle and keep track of your needle and not lose it.
He helps me get clay by Kim. He's been doing that, like, since, like, early pandemic. So he knows
some that are enameled, and, like, I mean, that can be all kinds of kinds, but, like...
Right. Yeah. He knows. What is a UFO?
Unfinished object.
Awesome. What is a whip?
Work in progress.
Awesome. What is an FFO?
Fully finished object. So an upgrade to a UFO, like it's been framed or it's been turned into the thing.
Not an upgrade to a UFO, an upgrade to an FO. Right?
Well...
A FO is a finished object, and then an FFO is a fully finished object.
Well, I mean, a UFO is like you've done the stitching.
No. UFO, no, maybe you don't know what a UFO is.
Isn't it like you finished stitching it, but like you haven't framed it and stuff yet?
No, that's an FO.
Oh my god.
A UFO, I'm gonna have to take that one off. A UFO.
I should have not talked so much.
Yeah. He's a philosophy professor. He's good at talking.
Oh my god.
A UFO is when you're just fucking sick of it. Oh, sorry. You're just sick of it. Like, you're just going to put it aside. You're done with it for now. Like, you just don't know that you're ever going to go back to it.
So it's like a whip that's like...
In timeout. Okay. It's a whip that's in timeout.
Oh, shit.
All right, what is a sal?
A stitch along.
Good. Can you name any that I'm doing? Or have done? Uh-huh.
Okay, so Dark Queen of the Sea. I didn't know if that had been regulated to UFO status or not, though.
Some people, it would still be a sal. Some people would consider that a UFO. I tend not to consider things UFOs, but definitely there's things that I'm just not, like, working on.
Okay.
I just have so many whips. I think when people only have, like, 5 whips, putting one in, like, UFO status is probably more meaningful. When you have, like, I don't know, hundreds of whips, there's going to be a bunch you're not getting to anyway.
Yeah.
So,
that's cool.
What is a Stitchy Spot?
Oh my god, you have like 100.
But what is one?
Like your cozy, awesome, wonderful place that like all your gear's set up at to like stitch it.
Can you name my primary stitching spot at our home in Pittsburgh?
I mean the yellow chair that's not a yellow chair?
Yes. Yeah. It has a blue slip cover on it. So we know it's yellow underneath, but it's blue now. What is my primary stitching spot here at the cabin?
3-season room.
We have a 3-season room that most of the year I can sit in and stitch, and I have my whole setup.
I mean, it's basically where you film your Flosstubes from. I mean, they've probably seen your stitching spot.
Well, yeah, in Pittsburgh, yeah. They have seen my stitching spot. Okay. What is frogging?
You have to
Try not to cuss.
I tried
not to.
It's when one has to pull out some of the stitches.
Yes. Do you know why it's called frogging?
Ribbit.
See? He knows so much. Okay, what is Ada?
It's type cloth that you've won stitches on. Or fabric that one stitches on, I guess. It's kind of what I use.
He has stitched a little.
Because it's easier, at least for me, to see where I need to go with the floss.
Very good. Bonus question.
Okay.
What's the other pronunciation of Ada? Aida. That's cool. All right, what is a skein?
Dude, it's the things that I buy for you at Michael's. It's the what flosses come in.
He buys my DMC a lot of the time for me. What is haul?
Like when I come home with a ton of skeins of floss and or potentially fabric. When they were having the DMC clearance sale. Yeah.
It's less stuff that you've acquired, that you've bought. What is stash?
What takes up a small amount of what we call the TV room. It is in your stash closet. It's like
the entire basement.
Well, I wasn't trying to completely out you. It's like stuff that you've accumulated that you're going to use.
Yeah. What is even weave?
Different type of fabric that's like not Ada or Aida.
Do you know why it's called even weave?
Yeah, because the threads are they're more even than they are than the bulky things that go on in Ada.
You have the same number of threads running vertically and horizontally, and they're evenly spaced. Yeah. What are orts?
The little leftover pieces of floss that you have that usually get collected in a jar. And our damn dog sometimes rummages through and goes absolutely berserk over. To be fair, the reason our dog rummages in my ort jar is because it's also where I put the candy wrappers. So if I... well, that mystery's solved. If I've had, like, a piece of chocolate, I'll just, like, tuck the wrapper in the ort jar because the ort jar gets emptied out. Talking about you.
And so the dog isn't going after the orts. She's going after the candy wrapper. Okay. So some of these are going to be, some of these you still know, but some of them might be a little bit trickier for you. What is railroading?
I know what it means in D&D. I don't.
Dungeons and Dragons. Well, what does it mean in Dungeons and Dragons?
when you don't give your players a choice and you're like, you're doing this.
Oh, that's not
so
the same.
They have
No,
to follow
no,
a
that's
strict,
like
straight path.
that's.
My best guess is that someone's going. Is it like the people that cross stitch that just do like line, like typewriter line, 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 line,
No,
line,
that's a
and
good
have
guess.
like 6,000 colors going at the same time? But okay, I have no idea.
That would be like. Make sure it's not. Oh, I can't tell you because it's not on here.
Okay.
Well, it's not on here. It's sort of on here. No, railroading is when say you're using 2 threads. When you go to put your needle back through the fabric, you split, like you go between the 2 threads to put your needle in, and it helps your threads lay evenly. I don't do it.
Okay.
But that's all it is.
Okay.
You're doing really well. What is a biscornu? It's a tricky one. It's tricky to explain what a biscornu is, even if you know what it is.
Is it a type of French knot?
No, but I like the guess. A biscornu is it's usually used as a pincushion, but a decoration where you actually cross stitch 2 squares, and then you turn one 45 degrees.
Okay.
And you sew it up in such a way so that you have the point of the top square hitting at the midpoint of the bottom square.
Okay.
And so it makes this like fun little shape. That's
cool. We don't have any of those,
I've never done one. No.
Okay.
I have a couple patterns.
I mean, we have a bunch of pin cushions, but I don't think I've
You've got a bunch of pin cushions. What is Krynic?
The bane of your existence.
No, it's not.
You don't love it though.
No, but it's not. I don't mind it either.
It's a metallic floss.
It is. It's metallic thread. No, what I really hate is the DMC metallic thread.
Okay,
That's
fair
what
enough.
I was supposed to be using on Lady Mirabilia, and it was not okay.
Okay.
Like, at all. What is NPI? This one's going to be hard because I tend not to use it. I don't think I've ever used it yet.
Is it the stuff that people use to coat their floss sometimes?
No, that's a good guess though. NPI silks. NPI, you've actually bought some. He bought some for my daughter. When a shop was going out of business near us, he was like, "Oh, these are pretty," and he bought some for our daughter.
So it's a specific brand of silk?
It's yes. NPI is
Right.
Needlepoint ink. Needlepoint ink silks.
Uh,
They're nice silks. Kathy Barrick charts with them, like all the Hawk Run Hollow pieces. I
Oh.
think all the Hawk Run Hollow pieces are originally charted in NPIs. But then, like, if you're doing NPIs instead of DMC, it like they're like 10 times as expensive to stitch in NPIs. What is a Q-snap?
we have like a bajillion of them. Like, not that's hyperbolic, but I mean it's a type of frame.
What is it? This one he might not know because I've never used one. What is a grime guard?
Is it the thing that I've asked you about that people like have over top of their Q snaps?
It is.
They're like, I mean, they're not scrunchies, but they're kind of.
They look like giant scrunchies. Yes.
Okay.
What is a haid? Haed. Like the initials. Haed. Haid. He knows this one, but maybe not well enough to remember it.
Is it what you call a project? I mean, how use it in context?
I've never finished a haid. I'm trying to give you context without giving away the answer. I'm not a big fan of the way a lot of haids end up looking.
it when someone modifies a chart? I don't know. Well, I don't know.
If I give him the name, hold on.
Oh, damn it!
What is it?
Heaven and Earth Designs.
And what does Heaven and Earth Designs chart?
I mean, it's usually super religious stuff.
No,
right?
not super religious stuff, but they start no. What kind of a chart is a Haid?
Full coverage.
Full coverage. There we go. They like all kinds of artworks. They do like fantasy stuff, all kinds of stuff.
I'm confusing them with somebody else. My bad. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna give you half. I'm giving you half credit for that one. What is parking? I don't know that he'll know this. Because I don't do a lot of full coverage, and I certainly don't park.
It's not like when you blink your needle and take a break. Like you park your needle and like you're taking like.
Yes. Well, sort of. Sort of. Okay, so parking in context of like Haids and full coverages, parking is usually people will have like dozens of threads going at once.
Okay.
And they, I think, because I don't do it, they'll like park their floss, they'll stitch the area they're stitching, and then they'll park it where the next stitch needs to be, and then they'll move on to another color.
Okay.
Okay, so out of those 23, let's see, one. I need to do math. I think you got 17 and a half correct. That's pretty good.
18. I think I deserve that. You got that one. You took that one from me.
Because I thought you had it right, and it turned out you didn't.
Oh my gosh. I knew what the acronym was though, so I should get at least half a point on that.
Okay, fair enough. I'll give you 18. I'll give you 18.
Yes.
I'll give him 18. That's fair. He did know what the acronym was. Okay, 18 out of 23. Now for the bonus questions that are more about my stitching. We'll see how he does. I mean, okay.
How I do. Like, you told me these were like my opinion about my
well, some of
tastes
them
and
are.
preferences.
Okay, to be fair, some of these don't have an answer that I know the answer to. What's the longest whip I've ever worked on? Like,
worked on and finished, or like does it still count if you're still working on it?
What's the what of the whips that I'm like kind of currently dealing with? Which of them started the longest ago? Name something that started like decades ago.
I mean, it's gotta be a Teresa Winsler.
What's the Teresa Winsler I've been focusing on a lot lately?
Or no, you've been doing Teresa Winsler's longer than you've been doing Chatelaines. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a Teresa Winsler.
Do you know the one I'm working on, or at least describe what it is if you don't know
The
its
dragon
name?
one.
Which dragon one?
The one that's like looking in the. Oh no.
It's not the Guardian. But the Guardian is one of my oldest whips. Clearly.
The dragon and the lady in the forest?
Yeah, well, they're not really in a forest. Well, Princess and the Dragon is what it's called. The dog is licking my ear. The puppy. We'll give you that. Okay. What is your favorite finish I've done? We talk about this all the time anyway. Are you going to blank on the name? Because when I film Flosstube...
No, it's probably going to be Stargazer or maybe Penguanodon.
Penguanodon, you will be meaningless to you probably. Penguanodon is the Dragon Dreams piece I did. That's a scene with the castle and the dragon and the knight and the princess, and it's not actually called Penguanodon. It's just called Penguanodon in our family. Long story.
Awesome story.
What is your favorite of my current whips?
So you have a lot, but like things that you're like working on, like really working on.
Like really working on.
I mean, I do like the mermaid you have going on in the 3-season room.
Mermaid of the Pearls.
For sure. I'm kind of excited to see you kicking butt with Kitschy and maybe doing finishing the Chatelaine.
Egypt Mandala Garden.
Because that one's pretty rad. Like, And we don't have a whole lot of stuff like that.
That is true.
I mean, we have a ton of pretty ladies. So I'm probably going to go with Egypt Mandala Garden.
Okay. Follow-up question, just because I want to know. Is there a whip that or something I haven't started yet, but that you know that I have, but that I'm not working on, like, actively, particularly, but that you wish I would? You might not have an answer to this. I'm just curious. Freya, don't do it.
I mean, there's kind of like the Poisoner's Mandala Garden.
Oh, the Poison Garden?
Yeah.
That one's cool.
That one's pretty darn cool. I
Okay,
like that one a
that's
lot.
good to know. Freya, Freya, stop digging. See, like, he knows, like, some of the chatelaines I have. That's awesome. Okay. This one's such...
and
Yeah?
I'm allowed to bring up the cursed one.
Yeah, you can bring it up.
I like red.
Red. Which I really need to do. This is ridiculous. It's just, like... It's, like, I was going gangbusters on it, and then I had that frog incident, and I'm just, like, not getting back into it. I need to fix that. Freya? Freya, stop digging. My dog's misbehaving. Okay, this one's going to be funny, and I can't wait to hear what he says to say about this. How do I store my floss?
I mean, like, how don't... Seriously? Like...
Give me a rundown. Like, what do you know about how I store my floss?
Okay, we have the DMC cabinets.
We have DMC cabinets.
For, like, ultra stash things.
Yeah.
So that's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you also have, like, 4 things that are kitted up? I know they have a technical name, but the little Ziploc baggies on a ring.
Called floss away bags.
So you have those. I mean, you don't really use the winders too terribly much.
The bobbins, no, I don't like those.
I mean, there's a couple that you've gotten from, boxes and stuff.
Owl Forest. Yeah, he knows they come in the box.
That are cool and stuff.
Yeah.
But we haven't gotten one of those in a while.
They're in Russia.
And not all of those are, like, awesome.
Yeah.
They're cool in their own right. They're just not necessarily our family's kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, so those are, like, primarily the 2 major ways that you rock stuff out. I mean, it's either stored or it's on it's in floss weight bags.
What's hanging next to your desk?
I mean, technically they're not in floss away bags, but they're on their clippy rings.
Floss drops. Like fancy flosses, a lot of them I keep on floss drops. Like my Be Stitch Me floss is all like on a ring. My Victorian motto. Weeks, Gentle Arts, Color and Cotton's on a ring. But Weeks, Gentle Arts, and the other one I'm blanking on.
And you have the boxes.
Go
too.
in DMC cabinets. What boxes?
The pretty slutty boxes.
Oh, I have Lone Elm Lane boxes that certain fancy flosses go in also. So when he said how don't I store it, he was right.
Anything except for a bobbin. Or just have shit laying around. There's not just shit laying around.
Yes, I try not to have stuff just laying around. Although I do have like a bowl for like stuff I ordered and I can't remember where it goes. Like I know it goes with the project and I can't remember which one. I do have a bowl for that. All right, what did you think when I first decided to do a Flosstube video? Sorry.
That it was going to be awesome and adorable.
Aww.
I mean,
He is super supportive, so yeah, that sounds about right. What do you think now?
that it's awesome and adorable. I mean, like, now I know that it's both awesome and adorable. I mean, before I had suspicions. But
Okay.
now I have knowledge.
Okay. Awesome.
I agree.
That's it, guys. He did awesome, and he did awesome on the bonus questions. So I would say he got 23 out of 28. And did really well.
And the only ones I really missed have, like, nothing to do with how... or very little to do with how it is that you've lost.
You're right. Like, all the things that he got wrong were things that, like, aren't...
I've never heard you say hate before.
Yes, you have. You absolutely have. Because I've explained how Hades... I've explained how Hades... Often, I don't love how they're charted. They have that, like, extra stitch to, like, blur the line between, like, a figure and the background, and I don't care for it. And that's why I started stitching... I always blank on the company that I actually started stitching full coverage from.
But you call them Heaven and Earth Designs.
I might often, but I know I've said Hade. I know I've said Hade.
Okay.
But I don't stitch them. He's right. The things that he missed were generally things that just don't apply to, like, my stitching. So they're things we don't talk about. The things we talk about, he's actually listening, and he knows. So you did a great job. And I thought you would, and I was right.
Okay.
Good job. I'm going to end this in a second, and then I'll be back to, like, show more updates of my craftiness here at the cabin over the next few days. But I wanted to say, this is really fun, and I'd love to see more of you do it. Excuse me. Even those of you who may have done it before, do it again. Because if it was years ago, see if your partner remembers stuff.
Or got better.
Or got better, yeah.
Or worse.
I even thought about doing it with my kids, but I don't want my kids on the videos. I bet my kids would do well, too. But anyway, thanks for joining me, guys. Excuse me, now I have a frog in my throat. And I'll be back in a few minutes with some craftiness. Hi, everybody. This is Amy again. Welcome back. If you skipped the part with my husband, my name is Amy. I'm Fiber Arts Amy here and on Instagram. So this is our last day at our cabin for this day. And I just wanted to show you, like, the crafty stuff that I've been doing while we've been here this trip. I did not do what I expected to do. I've actually done very little cross stitching. This is gonna be a very different video, I guess, for me. And this is Freya, who wants to be with me whenever I'm filming. Anyway, yeah, I just haven't done a lot of cross stitching. I haven't lost my stitchy bug, but some of my other bugs have been, like, off the charts. Like my quilting bug. Once I got here, I was like, I want to finish some quilts. Some quilts was not going to happen, but I did get one quilt top done. Like 20 minutes ago. Very excited about it. I'll show that at the end. And I've been doing some other stuff. So anyway, I'm just going to jump in. I'm going to show you what I've been working on, and also going to show you some of the, like, whips and whatnot that I have here. I'm sitting in what is usually my stitching corner, or my Stitchy Spot here at the cabin. This is like a 3-season room. It's a beautiful day out today. So I have a great view out here. We're just surrounded by woods. I do have what are these called? The daylight lamps for when I need it for nighttime, because I definitely need it at night. Where am I pointing? This is one of the lavender and lace pieces that I purchased. It's the Fairy Godmother that I purchased for my LNS going out of business. So I have nice stitching inspiration, and I have kind of it's actually like a plant stand with several layers next to me with projects and things. My dog's being a goof. Let me see if I can. There's my puppy. Yeah, just wants attention. Oh, you know what? I should show you too. So here I have this thing. This is a tray that I got from, I'm sorry, you're wobbling. I got from Not Forgotten Farm. I ordered from them on Etsy. I've ordered a lot of stuff from them on Etsy over the years. So they make these trays. I should take my water off before I do this so I don't cause a problem. So they make these trays that fit over the arm of your chair. So these are just like on springs. So you just open it up, you order it based on the width of your chair arm, and I love it. It's got a magnet on it if you want to use that. but it's just a great place to put your stuff. To leave, like, your scissors. I have my glasses on it, I got lotion on it. I'll leave floss or whatever. It's just a great thing to have next to you. So, Not Forgotten Farm, if you want one of those trays. They come in a bunch of different colors. I really like all the things I've ordered from them. Not to mention their cross-stitch charts, which are amazing. So the first thing I'm going to show you is I did meet with Lisa this week, Crossed by Floss, so we could work on Garden Beauty for Mirabilia. I do not have the cover photo for Garden Beauty this week, so I apologize for that. But I'll show you where I am. This week when we met, oh my goodness, and did we have trouble meeting. Internet not working for me. I am out in the middle of nowhere, and our internet's not so great. And the day Lisa and I were trying to Zoom or FaceTime, I think because there was a storm and clouds, and it wasn't working well at all. So we had a very interesting call trying to hang out with my, like, awful internet. But this is where I got to. So this time I actually did all of this dark shade of green up here. This is some of the greenery and, like, topiaries and bushes next to her. I got all of this dark shade of green, and I started the light shade of green. And this is going to be her face and her hair. I love how this is going. This is so much fun to work on. This is an old Silk Weaver, so now the current Silk Weaver company fabric. And it's a Clay by Kim needle minder. But I love this. I'm very glad that Lisa and I started this. So when Lisa and I decided to work on a project together, we decided to start something new. And I already have so many Mirabilia whips. I was like, all right, well, send me a list of, like, what you're thinking, like, some options. And this was the only one on our list I hadn't already started. But that's totally fine because I love this one, and I'm very, very happy to have it going. I have to make sure I take things home to Pittsburgh with me that I want to take home. So Garden Beauty I brought with me so that I would be able to work on it with Lisa. But it doesn't stay here. It's not something that I keep at the cabin. So then I'll go back to Pittsburgh with me. Okay, so this next thing that I stitched, I'm just looking to make sure I didn't show you the chart. So this is from Bent Creek. I like Bent Creek stuff. Especially earlier on in my stitching life. Like, I don't know, and I've probably been stitching for 5 or 6 years. Like, before kids, I worked, you know, full-time and for a paycheck, as opposed to now as a mother, where I'm on 24/7 and I don't get a paycheck. But anyway, I did a lot of, like, little Bent Creek kits. I love, like, I don't know, the relatively large stitches, a lot of them with pearl cotton. They were just easy to, like, throw in my purse or take with me somewhere. They were travel stitching a lot of the time. Well, this is a kit that I got from my L&S when it was closing, called the Autumn Mantle. There is a picture in here of the whole thing. It comes in 3 parts, and this came as a complete kit. So each part has its own packet. I don't know if you can still get this or not, but each part has its own packet, and it comes, I'll try to cover up our chart, it comes with the buttons, and it comes with enough of the pearl cotton to do that section. So I started in the middle. I just wasn't in the mood to do the math to, like, figure out, because it's kit fabric, so I don't know what kind of margin they would have calculated. I don't know that I know what count of fabric it is. So I started in the middle, and then I kind of worked over, and I the other night, my son and I, my middle child and I, were watching a movie, and I worked on this for a little while. I started this poke and stab, but I've been stitching it in hand lately. So here's the whole thing, but because it's just one strand, it's, for me, a good candidate for stitching using the sewing method. So that's as far as I've gotten. The other night with my son, I did these lines down here, and this is the start of a pair. So, yeah, it's fun. I mean, this stays actually by my nightstand here, and it's just fun and easy to pick out, to take out here and there. So, I love our cabin. It's beautiful here. The lighting stinks. If you're on, if you're out on one of these porches during the day, it's beautiful. Like, you have light, you can see just fine. But inside the cabin, the lighting's not so great. And our bedroom is no exception. Our bedroom here, the lighting is really bad. So that stays at my nightstand because I can stitch it with less awesome light. So I can pull it out okay and work on it there. Alright, I thought I was going to stitch a lot on Mermaid of the Pearls. It's sitting right here. I'll show it to you just because it's here. You would have seen it in my last video I did at the cabin. I thought I was going to work on this. I didn't work on it at all. That's okay. She'll be here waiting for me when I'm ready. So anyway, there she is. She just stays here. My Stitchy Spot. The thing, so I've been spending a lot of time quilting. I really wanted to finish at least one of these quilts. I have several quilt tops that are in progress here. Really wanted to finish at least one, which I'll show you towards the end. But I've been doing other things while we're here too. Like, we take our kids to the river. There's a small river near here, like in the neighborhood, where we spend a lot of time. We go stand up paddleboarding and stuff. We do cookouts. You know, we hang out with our kids and we sleep. There's a lot of napping that's been going on. So I've been having a great crafting time, but also a lot of like rest and relaxation time and whatnot. But one thing that really grabbed my attention while I was here, and I'm kind of obsessed now, and I'm not exactly sure why all of a sudden it's taken hold, although I think a lot of you, I'm sure, can relate to that like sometimes something, whether it's stitching or quilting or sewing or whatever, something just like grabs your attention and it's like all you want to do. Well, I've been working on this needlepoint piece. My dog's interested in what's going on outside. I've been working on this needlepoint piece since I got here. So I bought this years ago at a shop that's thankfully still in business because they would do the finishing for me. This gets wrapped around a brick. I don't know how many of you know what I'm talking about, but my grandmother had one, and it's like a good memory that I have. That my grandmother had this needlepoint brick, although hers was like floral, more like, I think it's kind of stereotypical needlepoint floral. I think she actually might have had more than one of them, but I remember being fascinated by it as a child. So you do, I don't know, this is like needlepoint canvas. It's a hand-painted canvas, and you stitch it, and then I can take it back to them, and they have a finisher who will mount this on a brick. So like these sides fold down. This makes like 5 of the 6 sides of the brick. I feel like when I've seen them before, they usually have like felt on the bottom. I'm not sure though. But anyway, I bought this kind of like on a whim a while ago. Sorry, my dog's barking. He's actually barking at my husband, who's outside cleaning up from our cookout. But anyway, I bought this a while ago, and I had stitched just like a tiny bit of it and barely made any progress. And I don't know, I got here this time and was like, I want to finish that. And I'm having a blast working on it. I have most of the bees, this is hard to see, most of the bees are done. Oh, I'm sorry, that was a loud bark. Freya? Freya? Oh, now he's barking at another dog. Better than barking at a bear. There are bears here. Anyway, so I have most of the bees done. Some of them still I need to finish the light green on their wings. All of this that's yellow here actually gets stitched in blue. So there's just a lot of fill-in stitching of this light blue, and I taught myself how to do the basket weave stitch. Looks like that on the back. Well, I mean, taught myself. I looked it up on the internet. I knew it was the thing that I'm like supposed to do. I wasn't bothering with worrying about what my stitches were like for like the bees, because there's only a few stitches in each color. But then for all that background of the blue, I thought I should probably do the basket weave stitch, since it, I guess its purpose is to keep the canvas from like warping and like bias, like, you know, switching, like slanting, getting twisted. So you end up with it not being square anymore. So I started that with a basket weave stitch, and I still need to finish some of that green, like I said, but the bee skep is all done, and a lot of the bees are all done. And I'm actually going to take this back to Pittsburgh with me, because I think this will make a really great project for right after my surgery. I'm having surgery at the end of July on my ankle. I had foot surgery a few years ago on my other side, and the recoveries are supposed to be very similar. And it's kind of cool that I have to stay in bed for 6 weeks, because that's lots of awesome stitching time. But I also know from experience, it's not like I'm going to wake up from surgery and like have the energy to stitch. Right? Like, you know, you're feeling pretty cruddy there for a while. So I'm not counting on being able to like jump right into stitching. But this might be, I think, a good, kind of like knitting is for me sometimes, like simple knitting projects. This might be a good thing to kind of, you know, it's just so easy. Especially, I'm hoping to get the bees done tonight before we go back to Pittsburgh. Just filling in that blue with pearl cotton should be very relaxing and simple. So that's going to end up going back to Pittsburgh with me. Let's see. That's everything I've worked on. That and the quilt. But there's some other things here that well, no, it's not everything I worked on. There's one more project I worked on. Trying to take things out carefully. The plant stand over here. I also have my iPad mounted over there, so like I can play Flosstube when internet allows it, and like let Flosstube play while I'm stitching, and I have this beautiful view, and it's wonderful here. The only other thing, I did put some stitches in on this. I've talked before about how my daughter now rides as well, but my son started riding a little over a year ago. I used to ride horses as a child, and I love horses, but when he started riding, I decided to do some horse stitching. So I did put a few stitches in on this the other night. I think it was only a few stitches. So there's that. You know, as I'm talking, I also am realizing I worked on Buttercup Fairy, which is a Nora Corbett. It's a small design. I keep that in my car, and I stitched on it some while we were at the river, but I don't have it with me. I'll show it in my next Flosstube if I can remember. There's not that much done on it. I've been working on it for years. It mostly just comes out when we're at the river on days that I'm not actually in the river. Anyway, you'll see it eventually. So that's what I've been working on. I wanted to show a few other things that are just kind of like over here in my Stitchy Corner and are on my radar, because I haven't shown you guys a lot of the stuff that's here. So this is something that I think I'm going to take back to Pittsburgh with me. I don't know why, but I've been thinking about this piece a lot lately, and even though it's not kind of my usual style, I really want to finish it. So I say finish it. I don't remember how much of it is done. I know it's not a lot. Like, it might only be 5 stitches. It might be 100 stitches. Like, I'm not sure, but it's not a lot. I haven't looked at it in years. So you'll find out, basically, or see me as I find out how much of it's actually done, because I know it's not much. But this is a Passione Ricamo. She has several sampler, kind of, not like historical sampler kind of things, but more like modern samplers. Although there's definitely at least a little bit of like an 80s vibe, depending on how you look at things. But I don't care. It's beautiful. And I love the colors in it. And it's romantic and beautiful, and I love it. And Passione Ricamo, you can get most, if not all, of her designs on her website as download. Well, she downloads. She, I believe, emails them to you like 24 hours later. Because she'll put like a water stamp on it, like saying that it's like for your use only or whatever, like your name. So you're less likely to just send it to somebody else. But I would love this. I don't know. It just appeals to me for some reason. This is Monaco. This is antique white Monaco. And this is how much I have done. It could be worse. That's not bad, right? That's an F. That's an F. I have an F done. The colors look way more vibrant to me than they do in the picture. I just think it's going to be beautiful. I've done Passione Ricamo's Welcome. It has like a little fairy sitting on the W. It's beautiful. I love that piece. I know I've shown it in one of my previous floss tubes when I was showing like pieces I already had done. Oh, now we got another dog barking, so my dog's going to go. Sorry about that. Sorry. Anyway, I'm going to take this home to Pittsburgh with me. I want to try to make some progress. This was before project bags became like a thing. And this works just as well as, you know, a $40 project bag from Etsy or one I've sewn myself. I still have a lot of projects in Ziplocs. I should move these things because I just tossed them onto what she thinks of as her bed. So something else, I do have a lot of, well, I showed you recently when I was here at the cabin. Oh, Freya, you're okay, baby. You want to come up? Mm-hmm. She's very interested in what's going on. I showed you recently when I filmed at the cabin, like my kit stash here, like my prepackaged kits, like dimensions and stuff. And this is one that I started here. Let me find the cover page for it. I took it out of its original packaging and using a Ziploc. This is Herb Window Garden. I love things like this. I'm a sucker for not just like herbs and plant like pieces like this, but when they give the name. When they give like names of plants, that just, it gets me every time. So anyway, here's the here's what it's gonna look like. I don't have much of this done. This is the cabin's for us a place to relax, and it's definitely a place where it's kind of like anything goes. Like you just, whatever you're in the mood for, you do. I'm looking at it trying to figure out which direction is up, because I really don't know. That doesn't make sense. Yeah. Okay. This is up. I haven't worked on this in quite some time. My most recent visits to the cabin, I've been working on Mermaid of the Pearls quite a lot. This is the first trip in a while that hasn't been like all things Mirabilia. So here's where I am at. Here's where I am with it, and that is the middle pot here, and then this one I've started the top of the pot, and I've got some of the border in between the pots done. So that's it. This is a 28 count natural linen. It's a Wishelt. I'm not which I'm saying just by looking and feeling it. I doubt it's what came with the kit. I probably subbed that out. They have all the kit materials, the floss and everything. This will stay here. my kitchen is like right through doors right there. And I don't know, I like the idea of all kinds of like stuff like that decorating our kitchen. I have a lot of it home in Pittsburgh. A couple other things that I had pulled out not too long ago because I'd like to work on them. This is pearl cotton for the needlepoint piece. I have some other things here. I don't think I've started this. I pulled some things out just that are on my radar. Haven't started it yet, but I want to soon. I've seen somebody recently stitching this on Instagram. They finished it, or the other one. So this is part of a set. There's this where she's sleeping, and then there's like a sunrise one where the butterfly is like upright, and it's really almost entirely full coverage. This one's called Butterfly at Rest. It's Lenart or Lenarta by Janlin. I don't know Lenart, whatever that is. I don't know if they still are part of Janlin. I had to have bought this ages ago. I don't see a date on it anywhere. But I also have the chart. I have the chart. There's like a booklet that has both of the butterflies in it. But I just happen to have the kit for this one. So I want to get these started. And this is Monaco. So I'm going to use the kit for this one. This is a project bag that I made. I love these. I have tons of these project bags. It is just a simple drawstring bag. And actually, after a while, I even stopped adding the drawstring. This is really not necessary. And just making all these bags, and then they hang like all over my house. So this is hanging here. And then the only other thing I have down here, this is going to be short. Well, it might not be as short when you put it together with my video with my husband. I don't know how long that took. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I have this huge piece of Wishel linen, and this piece barely started. I think I was just back stitching it. I don't even know why. I'm probably going to restart this. I really like this piece, but I think I need to start over. So this is Salem Village from Not Forgotten Farm. I'm going to start this over. I don't like what I was doing. I think I was thinking of just back stitching parts of the houses, but I want to go in there and actually stitch them, especially now with X's, especially now that I can use the sewing method. I really want to do that. I would be surprised if you can't get this off Not Forgotten Farm's Etsy. So if you want this, I would start there. I do like her PDF charts better. I'm generally a paper person, but I find the printing on her, which I can't show you, but the printing on her paper charts to be just too small. At least those that I have, they're doable. I can read them. It's just more trouble than I want it to be. So I would suggest, if you have issues with your vision at all, to do the PDF chart. So this needs to go on my list to like restart and do properly, because I really like this piece and I really want, and I can just rip out those few stitches that I did and start it again. But here's my plan for it. I wanted to use, tell me if any of you remember these. These are linen flosses from DMC. They were put out a dozen or more years ago, I want to say. They are beautiful. They are generally soft, more like muted, natural shades. I don't think I have all of them in here, although I do own all of them. I collected them at the time because they were beautiful, and I think they'd be perfect. They'd give an absolutely perfect look for all kinds of samplers and primitive pieces. They are absolutely stunning. I collected a bunch of them because I had dreams of stitching, like, I just dropped one, of like all the things in these flosses. They're stunning. And then I started stitching with them, and they're all so awful. Now I haven't done this in years. I need to try it again. There's this nice burgundy color. Ecru. And there's like some pinks. There's some really good flower colors. I don't have them all in this baggie. I think because I was just grabbed colors that I felt would, pardon me while I look for floss that I dropped. I just grabbed some flosses that I particularly wanted to use for this piece. This is just a tote bag that I made several years ago with like some sewing themed fabric. Anyway, that's where this stays. So linen floss. It definitely works better if you use beeswax, like as a thread conditioner. I don't do the beeswax when I'm doing a memorabilia or 2 strands. For single strands, I use it for sewing, for English paper piecing, depending on the thread I'm using. So I did discover that using a thread conditioner or beeswax is like a must for this, but I remember being shocked at just how miserable stuff was to stitch with. I mean, it's rough. It's not cotton. It's a lot rougher going through your fabric. I seem to remember shredding, but it's so beautiful that I feel like it's going to be worth the effort on some pieces, I think. Especially now that I've completed some. Like there's some things that, excuse me, 10 years ago or 15 years ago might not have seemed like worth the time or effort to me because I hadn't completed much stuff, right? Like if you haven't done that much, do you really want to slow yourself down that much more? That was, I think, more how I tended to think about it. Now that I've got more done, I think I'm more willing to slow down and do some things more, well, just more slowly, things that take more time. So anyway, this is on I really want to get back to this. I want to give it a try again and see how that goes. So that's on my radar. But if you've used that linen floss from DMC, if you have thoughts on it or tricks for how to make it, come on up. Oh, she's gonna bump you. I'm sorry. Come on up. Come on. No, okay. If I'm talking to my dog, in case that wasn't obvious. If you have thoughts on how to make it easier or like experience with it, or even you remember it, please let me know, because I don't know that I've ever seen anyone mention those flosses. They came in packs. There were 2 different like color packs, and they came with like some simple like free charts in the packs. But I always wanted to stitch other things. Freya? I always wanted to stitch other things with those flosses. Sorry, my dog's unhappy. I don't know if you can hear. So anyway, I'd love to know what you guys think and if you have any tricks with working with it, if you have. Come here. Come here. Come here. She wants someone to play with her. Just a minute. I'll play with her when we're done. So the only other thing I wanted to show you was quilting stuff. So that's the end of the stitching stuff. The next time summer is going to be hard doing floss tubes. I certainly won't be on a schedule. I'll be doing them when I can. Before I forget, because I almost did, I didn't get to do chatelaine Wednesday this week. I thought I had a chatelaine here I could start. A summer water garden mandala. I thought it was here. It might be, but if it is, I can't find it. So there was no chatelaine Wednesday for me this week, other than looking for the chatelaine that I wanted to start and not being able to find it. Do you want to come over? My dog just wants attention. Okay, so that's all of the stitchy stuff. Actually, nope, I take that back. It's not all the stitchy stuff. So today's June 11th. This is not going to be uploaded until after June 12th, when Maggie and I do our like official announcement of our Mirabilia retreat. Can I just say I'm so dang excited. Like I can't even, I'm so excited for this retreat. I don't even know how to put it into words. It's going to be amazing. I cannot wait. I hope a lot of you will come and join us because it's going to be like the best stitching party ever as far as I'm concerned. If you are a Mirabilia fan, please come join us. It's going to be amazing, and it's going to be a great opportunity for us to geek out over something that we love over a long weekend and spend time with, you know, an amazing designer. So please come join us. Okay, that's all the stitchy talk. I'm going to show 2 quilting things real quick, and then that'll be it. So, of course, I layered things badly back here. This is the quilt top that I just finished, and I do most of my quilts. I have a quilter do. In recent years, I've been using Angie Anderson. She lives on the eastern side of Pittsburgh, and she does a lot of my, well, all my long arm quilting for me at this point. Oh, I just found pins. That's not good. You're not supposed to leave pins in. Okay. Anyway, she does my long arm quilting for me and does an amazing job. So these will go to her probably later this summer, or this fall. So this is a quilt I've been working on for years with my daughter. It's going to be like impossible to show well. Well, here, I'm going to try to kind of show it. And then I'll talk about it. So what we did, I do a lot of quilts like this with my children. Like this meaning where they get to make decisions. So this is the quilt block here. All it is this quilt block repeating, but each one's different. What we did was I grabbed a bunch of just floral fabrics that I had in my stash, as well as a bunch of scraps, and where I had like with the fabric left over like strips. And I cut a bunch of strips in different widths. Some of them were very wide. Some were like 6 inches wide, 5, 3, I think like 2 and 1 or something. I just tons of them. Some of the strips I cut from leftovers were like all weird sizes, like whatever I could just kind of fit into the leftover bit of fabric. And laid them out kind of like narrowest to widest, and had my daughter pick what we were going to put on the block, where and how. My only requirement was that I didn't want any fabrics repeating within the same block. So like for this one, she picked this fabric first. So I just cut like kind of a wonky shape. And then I was like, all right, give me 2 fabrics to go on either side. And I mean, I intentionally made this piece not square. Okay, like I intentionally had the angles weird. So she gave me 2 pieces. So I sewed them on, pressed, trimmed. All right, give me a couple more. So she gave me this one and this one and told me which side to put them on. So I sewed them, pressed, trimmed, and you just keep going until, in this case, I was making the blocks the size of my ruler I was using, which was a 15-inch square ruler. So they are 15-inch blocks. But each one turns out very differently. And actually, this one might be an example of it. Sometimes a piece that we trim off at the end to like get a square block will have multiple fabrics in it, and it might be pretty significant. So sometimes you might end up with like our center for this one started out with these 3. Like these were together and trimmed off of another block. And so I used it to start the next block. So there's 16 of these blocks, and it was just like a fun thing for us to do together while we're here at the cabin. And I mean, I feel like it turned out great. I'm just going to show you some of them. I know it can be hard. It can be a struggle sometimes as a mom or a parent, like to keep your part of yourself and to fill up yourself as well as taking care of your children. And I'm somebody who, I don't like make my children be crafty. Like, I don't make them sew, but if they're interested, I will help them as long as their interest is there. And then when they need a break, they go away, and that's fine. I don't want to like push them. I think stories abound of people who, were like pushed to learn to sew or something by a relative, like a parent or a grandparent, and they basically ended up hating it so much they never did it, again as an adult. So I don't want to do that. But finding ways to get my kids involved in my sewing is not just for them to like potentially pass on a skill set. It's for me. It's how I get to enjoy my hobby while also spending time with my children. It's a way, I do lots of stuff with my kids. I spent an hour this morning playing Dungeons and Dragons because my middle child, with some help of his older brother, put together a dungeon for us to run and was very proud of himself, as he should be, because it was amazing. But we spent several hours a couple days ago doing it, and then we did it again this morning. It was a blast, but it's not what I'm likely to choose to do by myself, right? So we just spent several hours engaged in an activity my son really loves. Well, this is an opportunity for us to engage in an activity that I really love, for sewing and getting them involved. So, and my daughter has done a lot of this sort of thing with me. So there's another one. They all just are completely wonky. I mean, they're kind of like crazy quilt blocks. This one isn't as wonky. This was a strip we cut off of another block and then mostly just had to build it out. I didn't use a foundation or anything, and yes, there's all kinds of bias edges. I just tried to make sure everything was really well pressed before squaring it up at the end. And then I love this fabric. I wish I had bolts of it. It's an older fabric. It looks like, it's like tan on white, and it looks like wood boards. So this looks to me like a garden with a picket fence, because this is like the wood boards of a picket fence. And then I just did that sashing with, I used the same fabrics we had used in the blocks. I just grabbed a bunch of them and cut a bunch of 2.5 inch squares to just make a simple sashing. So that's it. That's all I did. I'm gonna have to fold this up nicely later. It needs a final press too, and some threads trimmed off. But I'm thrilled with this. It's beautiful. It's for my daughter, since she's the one who helped me make it, and really happy with how it turned out. And it's always nice to get something finished. And like when I get back to Pittsburgh, I'm more likely to have be even more into my stitching because I finished a quilt. And then this I just wanted to show you because I'm very proud of it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show it well enough for you to get an idea of the design. Oh yeah, I think I can. So this was from a kit that I bought years ago. And it has fairies. In case there's any doubt why I made this quilt. There's fairies. And butterflies and flowers. And it's like this Celtic knotwork, and it's green and purple, which I love, the combination of green and purple. My quilted butterflies. Excuse me, quilted butterflies into the back, which is beautiful. I'm just very proud of this quilt. I do a lot of kind of improvised quilting, like what I just showed you I did with my daughter. I do quite a bit of that. And I'm mostly a fan of kind of very classic, almost like old-fashioned, simple quilts. Freya, I'm almost done, sweetie. Really simple quilts. Sampler quilts, but kind of basic piecing or English paper piecing. Nothing real complicated. This is one of the most complicated quilts I've made, just in terms of me having to, there were just so many different components. This is so hard to show. There were so many different components of these blocks that I had to keep straight, and I was only working on it for a day or two at a time, since it's our vacation home. So having to keep track of everything and make sure I knew what was what to be able to come back to it. And then I hate borders. these long borders, having to make sure that they were cut straight. Like, this is one piece of fabric from here to here, and making sure that that scared the crud out of me, trying to make sure I cut that straight enough and everything. But it worked out, and I'm very proud of this quilt, even though it doesn't actually fit my aesthetic, other than having fairies on it. So it stays here on my Stitchy chair, on the back of my Stitchy chair. I do fold it with the back. This is grunge. This is, I don't piece my backings if I can help it, but this is a grunge that's available as a wide back. I know it's a dark purple. It stays here, and dog's back. It stays here for when I need it, and I did need it this morning because it's pretty chilly out. Okay, I think that's it. Kind of a weird video for me, but I don't know, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I just kind of wanted to recap what my stitching life has been like here the last, you know, week or so here at the cabin. Yeah, that's it. Hope you guys are having fun. I hope you're enjoying the starts of your summer. Everywhere I sit, she's got to be up behind me. Our chair here is not as wide, like not as deep for her as my Stitchy chair at home, and that bothers her. That's okay. I hope you guys are enjoying your stitching time. I hope you're enjoying the starts of your summer, however you're choosing to spend it. And I hope a lot of you will, again, this won't post until after it, but I hope a lot of you will have hung out with Maggie and I tomorrow night, June 12th. Time is meaningless on YouTube, but on June 12th when we do our Instagram live, so that we can spill all the details for our retreat. I hope a lot of you guys are able to make it. Comment below if you have any questions, and if you know anything about that linen floss. I don't think it's made anymore, but I'd love to know about it if there is linen floss that is made. Yeah, that's it. I'm just rambling now. Just ramble, because I don't know how to end a video. Anyway, thanks guys. I'm sure I'll see you soon, and enjoy your stitching. Bye.